Data Pandit. So today we are going to talk about few more concept in SQL. Okay. So how we create the database from the scratch, right? And then how different tables are getting created within that, and how these tables are, can be related to each other using primary key, foreign key constants. And also we are going to see one more concept, which is identity column. Okay. So there are three important concepts. So let's start creating the database first. So I'll open the SQL Server Management Studio. SQL Server. mm, Okay, I have installed already. So maybe you can refer my previous one or two videos wherein I have talked about how to and where to, you know, install this SQL Server database, and on top of it SQL Server Management Studio, so that you can create different tables, databases, schemas, and all those things. So let me create. So there are three databases already available, which is customized, user-defined databases. Okay, there are system databases also. So let me open a new query wizard. So as I said, we would be creating one more database. Okay, and within that, that is an automobile database, and within that we are going to create 3 to 4 tables, and we are going to define the relationship between those tables, and we are going to insert the data, respective data with in those tables. Okay, and we are going to see how the foreign key relationship works. Okay, primary key foreign key relationship, and where the constraint is defined, right? And what happens when we try to insert a record uh, which is uh, which is not getting inserted due to foreign key relationship, missing foreign key relationship, right? So let's I have some databases queries actually already built in. So these questions could be asked in interview. Okay, so before we create the table, right, so let's create the database. Okay, create database automobile, let's say. I'll call it as an automobile. Okay, so if I do that, so, and whenever we refresh the data, you will see this database coming in. Okay, so there are default folders within that. There are system tables used and all. Okay, if you go to security, there are users created, right? DBO schema already created, information schema, and all those things. And if you go to roles, there will be database roles, right? So these are inbuilt, automatically created by default. Okay, so until now we have done that, right? So we will use this database. So when we say use DB, so after that, whatever we are going to execute, right, the statement, they are going to be within the automobile database. Okay, otherwise you can create the right click on it and you can new query, and then you can start using here. Okay, now let's create the schema. Create schema, let's say auto. Okay, so my auto schema has been created. Okay, if you refresh it, and I think you will see probably. Okay, so now let's try to create the tables, different tables. So likewise, I've said, right. So first table I'm going to create. So let's talk about these why these columns. So my first column is going to be primary key. Okay, so which will uniquely identify the records within the departments table, and there are more columns like name and all. Okay, and I am specifying this primary key as a id. Okay, over here. And why I chosen as a not null? Because it's unique, and it doesn't allow the this is a primary key, and hence it doesn't allow the null values. Okay, and also I am specifying it as an identity column because I don't want to refer this column while inserting the data. And I am also saying that let's database itself takes care of the identity column, the primary key column, and it or itself, auto increment it successive integer numbers, and let's manage the primary key of all of this table by the database itself. I don't want to insert that number from myself whenever I insert, whether it is using any store procedure while inserting the data or any other application or manual insertion. I don't want to do that. Okay, so let's see how to insert some data into it. So let me specify the insert statement. So I have just given one column, okay, and I refer this table as a schema dot departments, okay, and then name columns and values. There are three values I'm going to insert. So if you do that, you insert it. Why it is saying that inserts invalid object and auto dot departments? I have created it, right? Oh, okay, I didn't do that. So let me check. Okay, I did not do the table creation first. Okay, so let me create this. So now it is created. Okay, now if you see this, you refresh this table, so it has come. Okay, now it will be running this. Okay, so I did not specify the ID column, and you will see the data. And whenever I select it, you will see the table data. Okay, and see this came automatically 1 2 3. If I specify a few more values, right, let's say uh, finance, let's say, and culture maybe, and admin, so it will take care. Three more record inserted, and 1 2 3 4 5 6. It will take care of auto increment, it says, right? So in some of the columns, it is an auto increment, and some of it is a identity. Okay. So basically, it is automatically it will increment. Okay. So we understood regarding the identity column and auto increment. We primarily use this identity column for primary key columns. Okay. And now we are going to create one more table, which is an employee table within our automobile database in the same schema. Okay, and let me run it. So it isn't created. Okay, now I'm going to insert some data into it. Or here also I have specified primary key as an identity column. Okay, I am not going to see, I did not use the ID column over here, and I need to refer this table as in within the auto. What happened? Okay, why it is double times? Okay, think some okay. Now insert into auto dot employees, and why it is not happening? Insert. Okay, I think it is an open state. Now it will run automatically. Run. Okay. If you want to see the data, you can specify and see here. Select all from this table, and you will see there are auto incremented columns came. If you want to insert a few more record of O, or any application wants to insert, so the application also needs to specify these many values. Okay, none, not like you're specifying ID from your side. So this is a good thing with respect to identity columns. Now let's say we are, so I said, like, employee table and the department table. We have created two tables. If you want to refresh this database, so we have tables, like we have two tables in auto schema within the automobile database, and we have some records already, right? So we are referring the department ID in the employee table. Also, we are referring the manager ID in the sense of the self-referencing table. Actually, employee is a self-referencing table in the sense of in the manager ID, right? So one of the so there will be a zero or more, there will be a manager for each employee, right? John is reporting to one in the sense of James, and then Michael is also reporting to the James, and Jonathan is reporting to the this one John. So this is a relationship within the table also, right? And also there is a department ID. Zomsi belonging to the one. What is the value of one? Is like one belongs to. Let me see the departments. So one belongs to HR, sales, and tech, right? So like guys, if you see here, oh, again it has been. I think might have inserted few more records also, right? So duplicated records. We should not have done that actually. So because it's an, I need to remove delete from, because it's an, there is no references, right, foreign key primary key. So there I could insert these records. Otherwise we should not, or I could have, primary key constraint and all. Delete from auto employees where ID in, where ID greater than or 4, right? So I don't delete all those things. So now if you want to see, so let's say this one, okay. Now if I want to try to, there is no relationship as such, right? So I want to do the foreign key relationship. So what I'm saying is alter table, employee table. I want to refer the same table, and my manager ID should be referring it, okay. So currently, if you look at here, I'm refreshing the table. If you look at here, go to the employee table and go to the constraint, right? Or keys. So there is only one key, okay? Primary key. Okay, primary key in the sense of this one only in the employee table. But we don't have any foreign keys, right? So if I execute this, so this will create a foreign key for the self references. I'm referring the same table, right? Auto dot employees and ID. So the manager ID column should be coming from the, actually the, it is an ID column, value of the ID. Okay. So I'm just done that, and if you refresh it, you will see the foreign key. Okay. So employee table will have foreign key now. Similarly, my department ID in the employee table also references to the department table. Okay, this is another table which I already created. Okay, so now if you execute this, so you will have a another keys over here, foreign key, another foreign key, this manager, right? And this one is department. So there are two foreign keys and one primary key, okay, for this employee table. So this is how we do it. Okay, now let's try to create a customer table again. And it is also have identity column for for the primary key, which is an ID, and there are, see, if you look at the tables, so you will see this table as well coming here, customers. Okay, and let's try to insert some data into it. Okay, so I'm creating the full-fledged, sample database, automobile database. Okay, and again I have an, on this one. So cars database. So cars database will be belonging to one of the, so the car probably belonging to the customer and the employees. Okay. Car may, refer to the employees and the customer. Okay. So let me do it. So I have created the cars tables, and let me insert the data within that. So let's see. 4 rows created. Select all from auto dot. So there are tables, right? Cars. So that's it, you know. So these are all available already. Employee ID was already there. Customer ID was already there. So therefore, you know, it is able to execute. So if I try to insert, so let's see when the foreign key violation comes. Okay. So let me insert one record. Simply let's I'll change this something like let me check. Okay, I'll insert only one record. I'll not insert more than that. Okay, two. So, and I'll check that employee customer ID and an employee ID. I'll see customer ID and employee ID. I'll just check customer and employee table first and then select all from employees. Okay, let me see the customer first because customer ID is getting used over here. So how many customers are there? 1, 2, 3. So let me check for here. I'll specify 4 and try to insert. See, insert statement conflicted with the foreign key constraint fk cars customer ID. The conflict occurred in database automobile table column ID. So the thing is like you don't have the particular customer and you are trying to insert the car detail of that customer. So this is the violation of the foreign key. Okay. So if you drop this constant, right? So it will allow. So let's try to do that. So you have the customer, right? And you have the keys, right? Not here. You have the cars. Where is that? I will refresh it. And you have cars and you have keys of what? So I have two foreign keys, right? Let me drop one of it. Drop alter table. I will drop this constant, okay, which I have created on the customer table using the customer ID and then try to insert, okay. Alter table, which one table? Auto.cars. Drop const constant. Which one? I know this customer constant, okay, and try to drop it. So I dropped it and you will see the reference after refreshing. You have only employee ID constant. Okay. 2 is already there. Employee is already there. Employee ID. So now try to insert it. It should insert. So it is getting inserted. Right? Though we don't have the customer ID of it, it is getting inserted. Right? Well, if I want to apply the constant now, okay, let's try to, it will not apply. Alter table it will table add constant, add foreign key constant. See, it is not allowing because that one of the entry is there, right, which is not Proper in the sense of we don't have customer detail for that. So the alter table statement conflicted with the foreign key constraint. This one, the conflict occur in database automobile. This one, customer ID. Okay, auto dot customers. So the thing is, whenever you have a constraint, right? So you need to you cannot insert the wrong values basically. So the foreign key primary key relationship which is established, right? It doesn't allow to insert the meaningless values basically. So uh, to stop this meaningless alteration of the database, right? So we apply we create the tables with the proper foreign key primary key relationship. Okay, this is one concept. So now what I can do is I can drop this maybe I can delete this record and then try to, or maybe I can try to add that record into the customer. Where is the customer? So where is the customer insertion? So let's see, right? So let me try one of the customer, right? Then maybe. So let me drop these values and then let, so this, let's say, okay. So now if I try to, what is happening? So I don't have constant, right? So now I have inserted the customer, okay, fourth number customer. You will see the Jan is inserted. Now if I refer this, it will allow, but first, then before that, I need to add the const foreign key. Now it is accepted, right? So now if you see the, after refreshing the table, you will see the keys, right? So foreign key customer ID applied, okay. So if you have the proper values within the source table, I mean the referred table, so it will allow to insert the data. So if you look at this one, so we have tried to understand the for this interview questions, right? Primary key, what are those? So it uniquely identifies the record within the table. It doesn't allow the null values. Okay, and the foreign key is the reference of the primary key from another table. And why we use that? To logically construct the database relationships so that meaningless data shall not be inserted in the database. And there is another concept which is with respect to the primary key is identity column. So there are different way of identifying, or I mean create while creating the table, different first in other databases like I think Oracle, we call it as an auto increment. When we specify the creation of the table and we want database to be take care the ID columns, right? So we say it as an auto increment column, okay. So we can avoid referring the primary key in all those insert statements. So with that, thank you so much. We understood these concepts, and we are going to see some more concept with respect to database in times to come. Okay.